started. Thanks for coming out, everyone. If you haven't signed in, make sure you do to avoid having to come back here and watch this video. We are recording this for those that can't make it. So a couple of things. One, we're going to try and go through this in a fairly quick manner. So if you have any questions or comments, please jot them down on a piece of paper, and we're going to take all of those at the end of the presentation. And then we're also going to do some introductions. I'm Sam Adikoff. I'm the Interim Executive Director. There's some people here I have not met, and I would like to find out who you all are before the end of the evening. We're going to get right into this. What's the number one priority in this organization?
Kids.
What's next? Okay, what else? Safety. We're going to start right there. Here's the. This is just the orientation outline. I'm gonna move right on. Safety is priority one. We've instituted a few things. I will tell you, as a parent of kids and having talked to lots of parents, the biggest fear they have is when their kid leaves on a trip somewhere. And so it's critical that you keep that in mind, that you're carrying very precious cargo and that you drive safely. We have instituted, for those that are on the driver's list, we've instituted a couple of online courses. Everyone's required to take those and complete those. Mimi has records of those. So if you haven't done that, you need to do that. If you have any questions, contact Mimi or Kelly, correct? Okay. Couple things specifically on driving. Okay, there we go. First of all, every time you get in the vehicle, before you start the key, remind everyone to put their seatbelts on. Second, there's absolutely no cell phone use while you're driving, regardless of any laws that we have. That is a rule that we have in the organization. If you need to make a call, you either pull over or have a passenger or an athlete make a call for you. No peanuts in the vehicles. We have several athletes with severe allergies. You are empowered to make your driving decisions. If you are tired, if the weather and conditions are beyond what you feel you are capable of in terms of driving safely, you are to pull over. If that means staying in a hotel with a bunch of kids, you do that, and we will deal with the costs and all of the issues and the fact that there might be school missed later. It's more important that if for whatever reason you do not feel safe driving, you should not be driving and you should pull over. And that might mean a 20-minute pullover for some weather. That might mean checking into a hotel. You have that decision to do that. No one is going to tell you you can't, and there will be no repercussions for you doing that. At least not from me, and not from the organization. I mean, you may hear some squabbling from parents, but that's unfortunate. And that's too bad. That's something that I will take care of. Obey all speed limits. No aggressive driving. And finally, no one is allowed to drive a vehicle unless they are on our list, on our registered insured drivers list. We had an incident last year. Many of you know about it. But this also goes for other people. If you anticipate perhaps parents being on a trip and for whatever reason traveling with you, we can get them on our insured drivers list, but we need them on that list. And certainly it should go without saying, with the exception of our cross-country gold team where we have some older, post-university athletes, our athletes should not be driving, ever. Any questions? I'll take questions later, sorry. Next is, where am I trying to, there you go. Training safely. Real quick, high vis is particularly important for cross country, but also if other teams are out biking. High visibility shirts, use some common sense on safety. Spotters in the air barn, stretching, hydration, managing fatigue. I think we all do a pretty good job of this at this point in time, but just some reminders. And then finally, skiing safely. And we have some representatives that I'll introduce in just a minute from Sun Valley Company. But I want to mention a couple of things here. First of all, never ski out of bounds with your athletes. There are two issues here. One is obviously safety, but the other is that once you duck that rope, you are telling an athlete that it is okay to ski in unsafe, uncontrolled conditions without the proper gear and the proper training. That is just not the message we want to send. It doesn't matter that it's a cut, across the top of cozy and in and around. Once you duck that rope, you are telling an athlete it is okay to do that without avalanche gear, without training. It's not acceptable, and it will not be tolerated, so keep that in mind. Linda and Brian are going to get into this more. Respect our trails and other skiers. This is, both for cross country as well as the gravity sports. Skiers code. Try and ski where the on crowded days, busy days, ski where the guests aren't, if you can, if it's free skiing. Try and avoid college all the time, and ski slow in the slow skiing areas. And also, finally, obviously, no skiing in closed areas. So with that, I'm just going to introduce Linda Bowling. Linda is in charge of the Yellow Coats guest services for the Sun Valley Company, and we also have Brian Dunn, who's going to join her. Bryant is on safety director of ski patrol. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks for having us, you guys, and we're really glad to have this opportunity. Sam and I really appreciate Sam reaching out to me, and we got together this summer, talked about the ways that we could collaborate and do things that would be for the enrichment and better experience for the athletes, for you guys as coaches. I know sometimes the relationship between you guys and the athletes and us on the mountain gets a little and we don't want it to be that way, and we know you guys don't want it to be that way, and the kids, frankly, probably really don't care because they're kids and that's where they're at. But what I was really excited about was the conversation with Sam, the idea that by working together, we can help you guys, I believe, really improve the experience for the athletes, because really the goal is obviously for them to be great skiers and whatever manner they're doing it, but also I know that you guys are wanting to teach them about leadership and teach them about sportsmanship and being good citizens, and that's all the stuff that really shows up for us on the mountain. And it's a really tough job that you have because they're kids, and I have 3 kids, and I know what the drill is. So it's a real challenge that you guys are facing, and we really admire you for taking it on, and we want to help you, make great kids, make great citizens for the future of Sun Valley. So one of the things that drives the way we see the world on the Yellow Coat side, and I really appreciate that Kathleen, one of your coaches, came over to you guys out of our Yellow Coat team last year, but we totally see the world through the eyes of the guest. And it's a different way of seeing our world on the mountain. So within that, safety becomes one of the #1 things, because quite honestly, and you guys have seen them, when we have guests coming in from Indiana and they get to the top of college and they think they are standing on the scariest black diamond that they could ever be looking at, right? And so, you have kids who have a totally different experience on college. So one of the things I wanted to do just really quickly is read you some snippets from what we consider our Sun Valley Company brand story. And these are, I think it gives you a taste of how we see the world as the employees of Sun Valley Company, and how we see the guests, and how the kids, your kids are our guests, you guys are our guests. All of our employees we consider internal guests. And so we're looking at the experience for everybody. So just a couple of, and I'm just gonna take out the snippets that I think will relate. But we see Sun Valley as being really a place off the beaten path. It's hard to get to, and it's unusual in the world of skiing. It's home, and this is a really critical, I think, to locals to know that this is how the company sees this and portrays this. Home to a community of people who are as unpretentious and real as the mountains, rivers, trails, and wildlife that surround them. A place where growth and culture haven't stripped away the true mountain experience, but instead blended it and become a natural part of it. It's a place where you are genuinely welcomed and embraced. And to me, that's what it's all about, okay? We want all of our guests on the mountain to feel genuinely embraced and cared for here. And that includes the athletes, that includes you guys, the coaches, that includes the people from Indiana, and some of the more, pain in the neck ones that come from states to the south of us. Anyway, a one-of-a-kind mountain experience that will create multi-generational memories and traditions that make people want to come back. And of course, then we look at that in the spectrum of the mountain community, which is all the sports, all the recreation, and in order for our community, meaning our whole Wood River Valley, to thrive, we really need people to want to be here with us. Come and visit, come and live for a while, raise their kids here, have their kids be part of your program, have those kids want to come back someday and live here as adults. So it's really that sense of caring that I hope that we can help you impart to the kids, and that the message of our mountain community, and I brought a lot of these little cards, I put them out by the food, have them around for you guys, for the kids, but to realize that we're all in this together for a great experience together, and so we want to work together. Find all those things that the kids that are doing that are great, and help them redirect things that maybe aren't working so great for other guests on the mountain, or, for us as an organization on the mountain. So I'm really excited about the collaboration, really appreciate you reaching out to us, Sam, and come up to any of us in yellow and introduce yourselves, talk with us, introduce us to the athletes, and, let us be a part of your community as much as we want you to be part of ours. Thanks. This is Brian Dunn.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. Really appreciate it. And I want to congratulate everyone in this room on the fact that they're being led. You were being led by someone who is, I think a lot of, and I've heard a lot of great things about, and maybe you're interim now, Sam, but I know you're going to do a great job. I think everyone in this community is really stoked you're in this position. I want to touch on a couple quick things, and I do want to make this short. I'm a supervisor with the ski patrol. This is my 16th year in that position, 24th on Baldy. There is no place in the world I love more. I have 4 kids. I get it, what it means to be a parent. I've been a coach. I get that too. And I want to just reiterate what Linda said, is that we really are in this together, all of us. And I know that there have been times over the years where there have been conflicts sometimes between SVSEF, coaches, athletes, and the Sun Valley company. But I want to tell you, and perhaps I'm just speaking on my own here, but I don't think so. I refuse to allow that reality to continue or to exist. So I want everyone in this room to know that you can come to me anytime with any issue. Find me on the mountain. I'm unit number 53. Ask for 5-3, they'll find me, and we will deal with it between us. And we will come out to a positive resolution every single time. Because, like right here in your mission statement, that the SVSEF is a cornerstone institution in our community. There is no more important entity in the Wood River Valley, in my opinion, than the SVSEF. Because this is the home to children to come and be part of the mountain culture, which is unlike any other culture in the world. And it's based in passion for the mountains, for athleticism, and I'm very passionate about it. I respect you guys for what you do very much. I love that Sam was touching on safety, and I don't really want to go into that too deeply. You guys know, we want to keep these kids safe. And one tragedy would be devastating for all of us. And whether it's driving down the road and sliding off the road in a van, going under the ropes, causing an avalanche, whatever it is. We just let's avoid the bad outcome, because that's not where any of us want to be. And so what I just want to focus on is that please know that you have an open line of communication with those of us who run this hill. And I don't ever want anyone to hesitate to come to me, and we'll get it figured out, whatever it is, because in the end, it's all about the kids. And nothing is more important to this community. And the mountain culture, just like the surf culture, and a few other cultures around the world like this that are based in outdoor recreation, is, I think, the most important aspect of this valley. And it is, when it comes down to it, really about community. So, know we're with you. There are no lines between us, anyone in this room, and the operations group of that mountain. So, know you have a home in the ski patrol shack anytime. And I encourage you to bring the kids in there to see what we do. It's pretty cool, to see a lot of the stuff that's going on. Sometimes if we're dealing with heavy trauma and some gnarly stuff, maybe that's not the time. But come on in, get to know us, let us get to know you, and you'll know, because you'll open the door and you'll know.
We're planning to bring in food and other goodies.
Hey, we've got
from time to
popcorn in there
time.
already. We'll do the kids' food. So anyway, I hope you get my overall message, but again, really appreciate you guys. And by the way, it is gonna snow this year. It's gonna crush. And we are gonna start making snow tonight.
Okay, we're going to move along without going to the next, can you back up? Back up? Yeah. Without looking at your the next page that's in there, who can tell me what our mission is? Anyone? Provide exceptional snow sports for the youth of the Wood River Valley, enabling them to reach their personal goals. And
Strong sportsmanship, values.
we have some work to do there. I think it is important that everyone on staff knows at least the critical components of our mission. We need to live it, we need to breathe it, so you need to know it. If that means memorizing it, you should memorize it, because you will be quizzed from time to time on the mountain and on the trail. And at the same point in time, I would take that opportunity to the extent you can, educate our athletes on what our mission is. Because it's important that we all recognize what it is we're trying to do. And when someone asks what's the mission of the organization, you should have a clear, concise answer, whether that means you've memorized it or in your own words can say what that is. That is a very important component and element. Moving on, I also get a couple of other things. We have this page here, and you might want to put it somewhere in your pocket or somewhere where you can look at it from time to time. I definitely would like to see everyone know what our mission is. Our vision is quite simple: to create the best junior snow sports program in the nation. I like to call our tagline, I think everyone probably knows this: strong minds, strong bodies, strong futures. We're going to be using that often through a lot of our messaging and branding. And the last section is why we matter. And again, this is another area, and I don't think we have a slide on it, but maybe we do. Why we matter. We came up with this to provide some talking points. So if someone comes up to you, a donor, someone from a guest, and says, what is the Ski Education Foundation all about? Why is it? What's important about it? Why does it matter? That there are 3 components that you can talk about. We are a cornerstone institution. We've been here 50 years, and we're dealing with snow sports, which this is a mountain community. So we're delivering on a lot of what this community means. Our athletes develop skills and tools not only to be successful in skiing, but in the rest of their lives. And the third, so that those are 2 major components. And again, if you have to memorize this, memorize it. But otherwise, just speak to it. The third component are the economic impact that we have on this community. there are different people that have different interests in our organization. Some people wanna, and I'll talk in general about constituents, so it could be parents, the coaches, the athletes, our parents, our donors. Some people wanna see, and all they care about are podium finishes. You know, we span the programming, we have participatory programming and we have competitive programming at a high level. That's fine, you can talk to that, you can talk to some of our successes. Some people just wanna see that we produce great kids out of the program and that they go on to successful careers, wherever that might be, and a lot of them in fact come back to this community and contribute significantly. We wanna be able to point that out. We also wanna talk about the economic impact that this organization has on the community, both in terms of direct economic impact through our budget, through the fact that we are now drawing people along with community school into the valley, the races we conduct by having outside organizations come in, spend money here, and the fact that, as I pointed out last year at the game dinner, we have a lot of alums that come back and become mayors, ski patrol coaches, business people, teachers, and contribute to what I would consider the economic, cultural, and moral fabric of the community. That is something that I think is very important, and it would be good. You will be asked from time to time, whether it's a reporter or, again, you're riding up the lift with someone not from the area, they're gonna ask you, what's it all about? You should have some good, concise answers revolving around this. So take some time to look at this. I take an opportunity, I have it on my wall upstairs, I look at it once a week and just kind of read through it. It'll keep us guided in what's important and where we're trying to head with the organization. You got that? Okay. Moving on. Communication. Are you gonna jump in on
I
this?
can, or you can continue if you're on a roll.
Phil may add in a few things. I'm going to mention just a few. Communications, and this is primarily with parents and athletes, but also certainly with your fellow coaches and with the administrative staff here. Prompt and courteous, and prompt being the big issue. If a parent calls, you call back. If a parent emails you, email back. If it's even more important, you call back. So you mirror the communication that comes your way. And to the extent that you can do it more quickly, becomes far more important. We want to be a responsive organization, responsive to our parents, responsive to our donors, responsive to each other. Professional and polite, goes without saying. If other people need to be brought into what might be a tense situation, we are available. That could be Phil, that could be me, it doesn't matter. But communication is critical. I don't know, you may or may not have hopefully you've noticed that we've dramatically increased and hopefully improved our method and amount of communication, both to our staff here and to our parents. And we've gotten tremendously positive feedback because of that. And that goes a long way toward building a stronger organization with more of our parents on board and engaged with what we're doing. Phil, you go ahead.
Just a couple quick things. Clearly, one of the reasons we're having this general orientation is for our over 100 employees to realize the scope and the magnitude of the institution that they work for, okay? And that requires a tremendous amount of communication, all right, amongst ourselves, amongst all these now we're in enrollment over 550 right now in November. So the program is growing, it's big, it's a big monster to handle, all right? And communication has to be at a really precise and high frequency so that we're actually getting things accomplished and getting our message out and moving forward in a positive way. So a couple things like internal and external. There's a lot of stuff that we talk about internally that's not for everyone else. And as an employee, you need to respect that. whether it's a disciplinary issue, whether it's a certain individual, a child in the program having challenges, whether it's conflict with our staff, whether it's something going on with the resort, right? We have an image and a presence that we must project. Over 100 strong, unified in that message. And things get super wonky when everyone starts to create their own dialogue on what Sun Valley Ski Ed is about. All right, this is really, really key, okay? And we all play a tremendous role in it. Also, engagement, all right? We have 100 employees. It's really challenging to get everyone up to speed on what the mission, the vision, the big picture is. What upcoming events and what we're doing and what our impact is. Now we have an internal newsletter. It's great, but it has to be read. If it's not read, you're not informed. If you're not informed, you can't message properly. All right? And then you actually start to feel like you're disenfranchised. Why does no one tell me anything? You know? You have to make an effort, all right, and engage with us. And feedback is critical. To pick up the phone, to talk to people you work with, the people you work for, and tell them what you're feeling, what you're hearing, and what's going on in this vast little valley that we have such a tremendous impact on. Communication is super key, and that's it.
Great.
Okay, we need everybody.
And on that subject, kind of my management philosophy is, I've got an open door. If you have an issue that you're not comfortable either talking to whoever you report to or anyone else, you can, if you've got an issue, a concern, give me a call, stop in the office. I will take the time to listen to whatever might be of concern.
Or you've heard something that you feel you might want to pass on, and you want to get it to the source, get it all the way to the head of the snake, so it can be responded to.
Okay, we're going to move on to youth management and character development. Couple of things here. Drug testing. We will be initiating drug testing. I'll be working with head coaches. That will be, I believe an email went out explaining that to everyone in detail, at least the reasons behind that and the protocol we will be following. Yes, we all got that, hopefully. The intent of the policy is not to disenfranchise or kick out, per se, athletes. It's to identify potential issues and to engage them and work with them, their parents, our coaches, and whoever else, counselors if need be, to get them back on the right track. Now clearly if they are not willing or not interested in making the necessary changes, then we need to make some decisions along the lines. Our drug testing protocol spells that out to a large extent. Almost everything else in terms of behavior is covered in our code of conduct, but not to the extent of exactly what's going to be done, because we will look at each situation and consider what the issues are and what maybe the best course of action should be. That kind of ties a little bit in with bullying. Bullying is not something that is acceptable in the organization. You all, and I will have to say I'm in this boat too. You all may not know how to deal with it because you don't want to exacerbate the situation by pulling the person being bullied out or casting a bigger light on the issue. So if you see it, talk to me or Phil or your program director, and we will figure out the best course of action. We've already had, and this is unrelated to the actual team, but this was taking place in the school situation. We understood that there was a potential for some bullying going on at the school.